Hi everybody, this is Mama Bear with Mama Bear's Instapot Cooking and Adventures. And I got tagged Morris's Patch of Heaven. Their homesteaders tagged me with 10 questions about homesteading. I have a cooking channel, so some of my answers I'm going to kind of direct toward the way I do things. I think they'll make more sense if I answer them that way because I don't grow plants or livestock. I did that when I was a kid. I grew up on a farm. And I think that's one thing that I really, truly relate with people that live on homesteads. It's the way I was raised, the value system I had instilled in me. And it does my heart good to see people raising their children that way, living off the land, the same values, love for God and country, and the things that as Americans I know we all hold so dear. And if you haven't yet checked out Morris's Patch of Heaven, please go take a look. I guarantee you'll subscribe. They're wonderful people raising wonderful children and doing some very good things. And I'm quite honored that I got tagged, and I hope they don't mind that I rearranged some of the 10 questions geared more for my channel. But I'm very thankful to have the opportunity to sit down one-on-one instead of being cooking, talking to you, letting you know a little bit about me and where I come from, what makes me tick. And so with that, their first question that they asked was what got me into homesteading. Well, in my case, it would be, I believe, what got me into making a YouTube channel. And I am 67 and I'm retired, and for health reasons, been through a lot. I'm not even actually supposed to be here, and I'm too stubborn to stop. The good Lord is not done with me yet. And that's one reason why I wanted to get into YouTube. I like to cook, I like to do things and share things, and I'm never, ever going to be too old to learn and grow. And I like sharing and doing like that, so it brings me a lot of enjoyment meeting new people, meeting new friends, and feeling like I'm contributing something still. I'm not the kind to sit home and just say, well, I'm retired, so I'm just going to sit here today. No. So I find a lot of happiness. I try to bring you some happiness through sharing what I know in the kitchen, which, I'm no expert, but I have learned a lot over the years, and I attribute most of that. You'll hear me very often talk about my grandma. She raised me, and from the time I can remember, when I was like 2-3 years old, I'd take my little step chair up to the kitchen and I'd help her do dishes, and I'd watch. And my earliest memory of cooking, to make a long story short, was my great-grandmother, and she taught me early on, you want to eat, you gotta help do the work. So she went out and she, how do I say this, what's his family are watching, we prepared our Sunday supper, which was going to be chicken and dumplings. So the chicken had to be processed. So I got the job of pulling off all the feathers of the chicken, and I did the very best I could. I worked diligently at it. And she told me that if I did a really good job, I could have the treasure that come with that. And inside were some of the most beautiful golden yellow soft eggs. And I will remember that probably till the day I die. And just little things like that, and kitchen memories. My grandma never measured anything. She would just throw it in there. And that woman could cook, and she enjoyed the kitchen. She would often sing hymns while she was in the kitchen working, and I just remember so much, and that is one of the reasons why I gravitate toward homesteading channels. I like the way they do things, and I've come out, made a lot of friends in my own little niche of cooking channels. I have a couple very, very dear ladies I'd like to give a special shout out to. Stacie's Home Cooking. Look her up, give her a try. She's a sweetheart. And Kentucky Girl. Kentucky Girl travels about, but we cook together in the kitchen. And it's just, they're amazing. So if I could give a shout out to the two of them in my field of cooking, then I'd like to do that. So that's part of how I got into the YouTubing. The second question was, what projects for 2020 do I want to do that's new and would make my channel grow or make my life grow? And I think one thing I'd like to do, I love my Instapot. Prior to that, I was a crock pot girl. Love the crock pot. Put it in, go about my business for the day, come home, supper's ready. What's not to like? And with Instapots, you can do that, but I'm a little old-fashioned. I want to be in the house when it's coming under pressure and stuff. And I know with the safety features and stuff, you shouldn't have to, but I am old-fashioned that way. I do like to be in the house when the Instapot's going. So I think on that note, one thing I'd like to try to do is maybe once in a while, if I could get comments and input from some of my subscribers, let me know what you'd like to see. I love to cook a wide variety of things. My husband is Italian, and the first thing that my mom-in-law taught me how to make was what they call the gravy, otherwise known as the tomato sauce. And the way that it's homemade, I had never had anything like that growing up. We ate stuff out of the jar. I mean, what did I know? But just little things like that I'd like to share. My husband told me I can make the best eggplant parm he's ever had. And I'd like to maybe share something like that with you, or different things. One thing, because of health reasons, I am diabetic. Going into April, I'm going to be in my 3rd year of fighting breast cancer, and I'm winning. And so on that note, I try to be mindful of what I eat. I have a few other health issues I have to be concerned about. So I've tried to think, well, how can I take like the Instapot and gear it more toward a healthier lifestyle, more vegetables, grains. Whenever I cook, and you'll see me cook meat and things of that nature, we don't have it all the time. But I do try to use healthy oils, things that are healthy for you, that, you don't see me fry things and stuff like that. I don't do things like that as a rule. But I would like to set out a growth and maybe experiment and show you some of the things that, maybe you'd like to see how somebody else makes it, and let me, show you how I do it. And I think it'd be fun to kind of grow that way. Also with my adventures, I call them adventures from lack of a better word. When I'm out and about and I see pictures, the mind's eye's always going. And I'm big on taking snapshots. I like memories that way. Even the ring doorbell, when it goes off. I see a picture of a bear, I want to capture it. I just want that picture to last. And I know if it brings me happiness, I want to share it and hopefully make other people, give them something that might make them feel a little better for the day. And so that's why I do that. And I'd like to maybe expand some of the things. I live part of the time in Florida and part of the time here in Gatlinburg. And so I'd like to, do some things in Florida right now. I did some Christmas lights out there, but there's a lot to see down there. There really is. I take it for granted because I live there. But, maybe other people wouldn't that live in the Midwest or on the West Coast or up in the Northeast, So, there's things I want to grow and do and expand my channel that way. And I welcome comments and stuff. Let me know what you want. I'm very open to suggestions and trying to grow as you would like my channel to grow. And that's another thing I want to do is stop calling it my channel. It's our channel. I've got 125 subscribers. And boy, thank you to each and every one of you. I'm starting to get that little YouTube-y family feeling because I recognize names and I'm getting to know a lot of you. Went to a meetup here in Gatlinburg and to meet new people and everything. It's a very good feeling. And I really would like to set a goal maybe by this time next year. I can have my own little meetup and we can have Mama Bears family, a little get together. I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. The third question that they had asked on their list was, what was the most difficult lesson learned while homesteading? Homesteading when I was a kid, we had a 10-acre farm. We didn't have one of the 300-400 acres like they used to be back when I was little, but it was 10 acres. And I think the hardest lesson I had to learn was that we do live off the land and we have a very strong faith in God that He will take care of us. We got to work hard, but He will take care of us. And sometimes the answer is no. If we lost animals, things of that nature, it's a circle of life. And that one, I think, being really small was hard for me. But looking back on it now, I still apply those things. And so it was a very worthwhile way to grow up and to learn to see the world and to understand that that's the way it works. So, it's pretty much the same way here. Faith and hard work, and get a lot of rewards out of that. And so not much changes in life sometimes. Their fourth question that they asked was, what is my favorite chore? Now, I know they meant on the homestead. I had a Tennessee Walker that I raised in 4-H, and they were going to put Rusty up for auction. And I begged and I pleaded, and my family sure couldn't afford it. But the man that owned him, I told him, I said, if I win you a blue ribbon, you can get more for him at the auction. And he says, you're right. And so I kept my word. Rusty won the blue ribbon. And my chores, I would say, I didn't mind mucking the stalls. It was okay. He needed me to do that. He's not going to do it himself. But when I'd come home from school and he'd get the apples and stuff from me, I would look forward to that. We had 300 Rhode Island Reds. I gathered eggs 3 times a day on weekends, twice a day. When I was going to school, even cleaning the eggs and grading them to take them to the farmer's market on Saturday mornings was something that I really liked to do. I mean, it gave you a worthwhile feeling. Plus, too, to this very day, and I don't care what people say, I could be blindfolded and I know the difference between a brown egg and a white one. The brown ones are just richer. And so, you learn a lot that way. But I did. I enjoyed the chores. My chores as far as today for my channel, helping Grandma in the kitchen was always my thing. So I'll sit down and I'll give a lot of thought about what I want to cook for my next show. And I want to do things that helps all of you, to get more comfortable with those Instapots and eat healthy. And, I feel real good about that. And if I can accomplish that with even just one person, I've done good. And so that's a chore, but not really. It's something I like to do. Their fifth question, what is your favorite thing to grow? Back when we had the farm and I was little, my favorite thing was corn and tomatoes. Oh my word, I love me some corn. And to this day, corn is my favorite food. I don't care if it's roasted on the grill, boiled, creamed, you name it. I love corn. And being a diabetic, can't have that much of it. So that's like a treat to me now. So, but I did like to raise those most of all. And another thing I always like to raise, I like the seedlings. But if you were to be here in my home right now, and even the one in Florida, I think you can see up there, I can't fill my life enough with sunflowers. They are my favorite flower. And to grow them, to look out and see a whole big array of sunflowers, it just does it so good. It's just so beautiful. So I think those were all, so that's in that list of things you like to grow. And you can eat from it too. Sunflower seeds are good for you. The next thing, the sixth question on their list was, what do you love the most about the homesteading community? And I think I went over that already. The value system, the hard work, the dedication, the love for family and friends, the belief in God, and not afraid to say so. Those are things that I get the most from my life. And I noticed that it's in a lot of the channels, especially in the homesteading ones. They seem to be the most toward what I can relate to, and I like that a lot. Number 7 on your list, what's your favorite meal to make? Well, I have a few. My favorite, very favorite meal is Thanksgiving. Oh, I love it. My husband will make the turkey. We get together and we do the turkey. I'll do the sides, and we have the very traditional meal: the sweet potato casserole, the green bean casserole, the dressing. This year we experimented and we put craisins in it. Pardon me, we went a little crazy and we really went wild. We put craisins in there. Oh my gosh, it was good. Excuse me. Shouldn't do that on camera, but I had to. And another thing I like to make, lasagna, eggplant parm. I love to cook the Italian things that are made in layers, and the way the house smells. Oh. And in general, I just like to cook. I love food. I like the way it smells. I like to work with it. So, I would say about anything, but if I had to narrow it down to just one, it's Thanksgiving. Number 8 on their list is, what is your favorite holiday? Christmas. It's the birth of our Lord. He is the reason for the season. And I get a little impatient when I'm told that I can't, it's not PC to refer to Jesus or the Lord or the love. Hey, that's my life. I have the freedom to express it. And that's just the way I am. And if I ever offend anyone, well, I'm sorry. But there's a lot of cooking shows, and I may lose some subscribers over that. In fact, I had it brought to my attention that one day after a cooking show, I said, God bless. I wouldn't take that back for anything. So, if I ever offend anybody, it's not going to bother me if you go where you're more comfortable. But that's the way I am. And I'm that way with Christmas. It kind of gets on my nerves when people will say, Happy happy holidays. Well, it's okay. If you're one religion, I can tell you in your own religion, I've got respect for you, another religion, another, and another. I mean, I can tell you, okay, in your religion, it's known by a lot of names, but I expect someone to do that for me also, and I know Happy Holidays is a way to incorporate everybody. Well, with me, it's Merry Christmas, and if you want to say, something else, I'll say, well, yes. And that's, and I mean that from my heart. It's, but I don't know, it's a pet peeve of mine. But anyway, I shouldn't have went off on that little roll, but it did need to be addressed because it was brought to my attention and I shouldn't have done that. Let's see, their 9th question, pardon me please, was, do you plan to stay or move? I don't homestead. My husband, after our place burned down in the wildfires, our retirement home here in Gatlinburg, we almost had it paid off. And we didn't receive any hands up or anything to build it. My husband took his retirement and he did good for us. By doing that, he has to work a few more years past when he wanted to retire. And after that, when that day comes, I want to spend more time up in these mountains, and so does he. And then we'll still keep the place in Florida. Technically, we're homesteaders. We have a homestead exemption down there. They do that. So we'll keep both homes, good Lord willing. And so that's the only way I could answer that one. If I was to still be living on a farm, I think my ideal farm probably would be, if I could roll back the hands of time, put me back in my 40s, I would say between 10, 20 acres. I'm too old right now to even think like that. I'd like to have maybe a greenhouse and grow some violets and some vegetables, but that's about the extent of that. This old girl just, from her farming days, are probably well gone. The last question, number 10. What are some of your homestead channels that you follow? I have quite a few of you that subscribe on this channel, and I follow you. A lot of times I read. I don't really comment, unless I feel I've gotten to know you enough to where I'm comfortable enough to weigh in with my opinion. If I see stuff I really like, I'm going to say so. And that's, that's where I am. But when it comes to my very favorite, it's got to be Morris Patch of Heaven. That lady, she does herbs. She makes her own things. She cooks. She homeschools. To me, I don't think there's anything that woman can't do. And so, I would say they are my favorite homesteaders. Doesn't mean I wouldn't like for someone here to visit me and give me a chance to know you too, because I sure would. On that note, it is now my pleasure to tag some friends of mine. When I first started this channel, I was scared something terrible. I'd never been in front of a camera, ever. I had a little bit of computer knowledge. I don't work by a computer. I have a cell phone. Everything I do is over the cell phone. I catch on pretty quick, but not like I did when I was in my teens. I graduated with A's and never opened a book. Can't do that anymore. I have to look at things. So, I was nervous, to put it lightly. And John and Jan, we were in a chat It was live chat, and she told me, she says, don't be nervous, just be yourself. And I've never forgotten that, and I know I won't forget it, because it's very true. I don't want you to see me and think, she's funny, she don't know what she's talking about. If I make a mistake, I'm going to tell you, I made a mistake. And we'll learn by it, and we'll go forward. And that's the way that, you know, I want that channel to be. And Jan, she got it off on the right foot when she said that. Now you're going to wonder who John and Jan are. Their channel is called Adventures in the Heartland. And they are an awesome couple. She raises baby bunnies. I got to see the little bunnies right after they were born. They were, oh, so tiny and so sweet. They were so cute. And she took us in the pens and was showing us the bunnies. And she cans, he can't, or I think it's a community effort with them. They cook, can, raise things, they travel, they are fun, they are young at heart and knowledgeable about things and very kind and generous people. And so please go to their channel, check them out. I think, in fact, I know you'll be glad you did. Once again, their name is Adventures in the Heartland. And on that note, I thank you for giving me an opportunity to get to know me a little bit. I really am grateful that I got to do this. And so, thank you very much. God bless.